In the locker room, before the start of a soccer match, Hung tries to convince Feng to lose that game. However, Feng refuses to do this and reminds his colleague that he is the best player on the team, so much so that he has been given the title of Golden Leg. However, the boy changes his mind when he realizes that Hung is willing to pay him to diminish his performance in that game. Before returning to the field, Feng does not miss the opportunity to humiliate his colleague and uses his head as a support to tie his shoelaces. Even though he is humiliated, Hung lets a smile escape his lips, as he hatched a plan to get rid of his opponent once and for all during the match. Golden Leg prepares to make the kick that will decide the outcome of the game and receives great support from the fans. However, as agreed, the boy misses the goal, handing the victory to the opposing team. At that moment, some fans invade the field and attack Feng. That day, the young man was seriously injured. He had his leg broken so brutally that he was never able to recover. Seeing his colleague being destroyed, Hung cannot hide his joy. Years go by and he becomes a great soccer coach. The man has hired Feng as his helper and one of his greatest pleasures is to humiliate him. Hung promised that one day Feng could coach a team, but that day never came. Instead, the man dismisses Feng and, before sending him away, reveals that 20 years ago, on the day Golden Leg was assaulted, Hung says that he himself paid one of the fans to break the man's leg. If it weren't for this, Hung would probably be the one working for him today. Unemployed and without hope for a better future, Feng is walking down the street drinking a beer when he spots a guy stretching his legs on the sidewalk. The man tells that he is a great master of martial arts and claims that he learned to fight while watching Bruce Lee movies. Next, Sing, better known as Steel Leg, asks if Feng is not interested in receiving some kung fu lessons. He hands over his business card, but the old man is not convinced that he needs to learn to fight. In an attempt to get a customer, Sing asks the man to observe a girl who is walking down the street. She slips on a banana peel and falls flat on her face. Then, the man says that if she knew martial arts this would never have happened, because kung fu trains the user to learn not to fall. A few meters away, another young woman tries to park her car and Sing says that if she had studied the iron hand technique, parking would be much easier. The same goes for the guy who was fired for taking too long to prune the trees, because he would do his job much faster if he knew the flying sword method. For Sing, the mistake people make is to believe that kung fu is only for fighting, and his main purpose is to show everyone how martial arts can be used to improve their lives. Hearing this, Feng shoves Sing's business card into a small can and throws it in the man's direction. If he is such a good fighter, he will be able to deflect the attack. Then, Steel Leg gives the can a big kick and sends the object flying. Despite being impressed by that kick, Feng decides to leave while Sing takes the cans he collected to a buyer. Despite his skills, this is the way Sing earns his living. The man practices a few moves while walking through the city. When he comes across the window of a shoe store, he is dazzled, but the salesman soon appears and orders him to leave. Sing is walking with his old pair of sneakers when he comes across a guy who asks for his help lifting a refrigerator. Immediately, Steel Leg kicks the refrigerator and sends it to the right place. After delivering his merchandise to the buyer and picking up some coins, Sing goes to the sweetbread store in search of a meal. Once there, he meets Mui. The girl uses precise Tai Chi movements to prepare the dough for the sweetbreads. Upon seeing the cook's incredible technique, Sing praises the woman and says that, besides being beautiful, she is very skilled. Then Mui is embarrassed and hides her face, as she feels extremely uncomfortable with her appearance. While they talk about kung fu, Sing takes the opportunity to eat some sweet rolls and hands over his old pair of sneakers as payment. Just then, another kung fu master appears and tells how he has learned to concentrate his art on his vocal cords to bring joy to those around him through music. Then the man begins to sing and dance, and everyone around him does the same. Minutes later, several people gather in front of the store and begin to dance along with him. However, the fun doesn't last long, as the owner of the establishment shows up and orders everyone to stop joking around. Before she leaves, Sing grabs another bun. Seeing the pair of old sneakers on the table, the woman orders Mui to throw them away. That afternoon, Sing goes to visit one of his brothers, who trained martial arts alongside him while they lived in the monastery. The man is his older brother and became known as Iron Head, because he was the only one to master this technique. Iron Head works in a bar and his boss has a habit of smashing bottles over his head when he is angry. He needs to get a band to play that night and Sing has the idea of performing alongside his brother. The duo dresses up as monks and begins to sing. However, the performance does not please the customers. They are attacked by a group of delinquents who wish to punish them for their lack of musical talent. While walking in an alley, Feng spots the can that Sing kicked away a few hours ago. The former soccer player is surprised to discover that the object was able to penetrate the wall and caused cracks everywhere. When he removes the can from the wall, The wall collapses and Feng spots the kung fu fighter, who intends to take revenge on the men who attacked him in the bar. His kicks are so powerful that even without hitting his opponent, Sing can immobilize him. One of his enemies tries to hit him with a ball, but Steelegs kicks the object back and knocks him out. He then eliminates all the delinquents, one by one, using only a soccer ball. Upon seeing the man's performance, Feng is impressed and goes to talk to him minutes later. Looking at Sing's legs, the man says that they are perfect for playing soccer. In this instant, Steel Leg has the idea of applying his kung fu to the sport and asks Feng to be his trainer. That same day, Sing goes to the store where Mui works and asks about the sneakers he left there. The girl then reveals that she couldn't throw them away, instead, she mended them. The man is extremely grateful and goes to meet Iron Head to ask him to become a member of his soccer team. Upon seeing his brother, the man begs him to leave, because he caused too much trouble the last time he was in that bar. Sing then decides to go and talk to his other brothers. His fourth brother is an unemployed man who is desperate to get a job, but when Sing asks him if he wants to become a member of his soccer club, the man gets angry and tells them to go away. His third brother is an accountant and lives a busy routine at work. The man says he doesn't have time to talk about that idiocy and calculates the probability of them being successful in soccer, since they have never played the sport. Seeing that the chances of success are very low, the man takes his bicycle and tells them to go away. In the supermarket, Sing meets his sixth brother, the younger one, known as Lightweight. However, the man explains that after the death of his master, he can no longer practice kung fu because he has become obsessed with food. A customer asks the young man to pick up a package of toilet paper for her, but Lightweight ends up making a big mess and knocks all the packages to the floor. Now Sing's last hope is his second brother, Hooking Legs, who currently earns his living washing dishes in a restaurant. The man hates his own life and cannot accept the fact that he has to wash dishes to earn money when he is a great master in kung fu. Then, Sing offers him the opportunity to use his skills to get rich, but Hooking Legs is furious, because he can't take this story seriously. After another day of being humiliated by his boss, Iron Head remembers the time when he lived in the monastery with his brothers. All the young masters also miss using their kung fu, so they decide to accept Sing's proposal. In the late afternoon, the man returns home and is furious that he has failed in his mission. While lamenting the fact that he has no support from his brothers, Sing is surprised by the arrival of 5 men who are determined to create the best soccer team in China. Immediately, they start training, and Sing throws the ball up. While they wait for the object to return to the ground, Lightweight takes the opportunity to eat some eggs. When the ball returns, Feng begins to train his team. He says that Sing has very strong legs, but needs to learn to control them. Therefore, the coach says that he will only be able to play soccer when he can kick an egg without breaking it. Gradually, the man manages to make progress, and the next step is to learn to hit the target drawn on the wall. While Feng is training the rest of the team, he hears a terrifying noise and notices that his water glass is moving. At this point, the group goes to check what is going on and finds Sing destroying the wall with his powerful kicks. Days later, they will participate in their first match against a rival team. The game begins and Sing prepares to score the first goal. However, before the man could kick the ball, 2 of his opponents attack him and knock the man to the ground. Then other players gather around him and hit several kicks all over his body. The same happens to his brothers, who are beaten badly by the opposing team. Steel Leg finds his younger brother having a seizure, and soon after, his third brother faints. Sing goes to the referee and asks if he won't punish the other team, because they are cheating in the game. But Feng says that if Sing's brothers can't stand those guys, they don't deserve to play professional soccer. After suffering all that humiliation, Steel Leg feels something strange. He claims that his brother's powers are coming back. For an instant, time stops, and suddenly their skills as kung fu masters return. One by one, they demonstrate their true abilities and easily manage to defeat the opposing team. At the sight of all that power, some rival players are frightened and run away, but others are impressed and beg to join that team. Days later, in his mansion, Hung tests a new substance, which allows his players to perform powerful kicks even underwater. The coach receives a call, in which he is informed that Feng is at the reception trying to register his team for the championship. So Hung goes to check out what is going on and asks to meet the players. When he sees Feng's team, he decides to pay the registration fee because he believes that these guys will soon be slaughtered. That night, when Mui leaves work, she is approached by Sing. The man takes her to a designer clothing store and informs her that as soon as his team starts making money and he becomes a famous player, he will give Mui everything she wants. Steel Leg wishes to do this as a thank you, since he will only be able to play because Mui has patched his sneaker. He again states that the girl is very beautiful and needs to be more confident. Soon after, Sing's boss appears and orders him to clean the floor. He then asks Mui to go home and promises that he will soon visit her at the store. The next morning, the group prepares for their first professional game. The opposing team believes it will be easy to beat that bunch of idiots, but is surprised when Steel Leg scores dozens of goals in a row. Minutes later, Hung receives a call and finds out that Feng's team is winning 40-0. As the days go by, the fame of the Kung Fu Soccer Club increases and more fans fill the stands to watch this team play. Tired of feeling bad about her appearance, Mui decides to go to a beauty salon and gets a complete makeover. Meanwhile, Sing and his brothers receive their first sponsorship. They get new sneakers and can finally throw their old shoes in the trash. That night, the group goes out to celebrate and Sing invites Mui. However, he can barely recognize her, as the young woman looks completely different. Sing thinks it's funny that the girl is dressing like that when Halloween is still far away. But he decides to leave it aside and gives her a pair of sneakers as a present. Steel Leg introduces her friend to his brothers and they get a big scare for her look. Mui tries to take the situation in jest, but the truth is that she is quite upset. Despite her efforts to become more beautiful, Sing does not compliment her and even mocks her appearance. Suddenly, Mui's boss shows up and chides the girl for being dressed like that. Seeing her friend being humiliated, Steel Leg and his brothers join forces to defend her and say that the young girl looks beautiful. For the first time in her life, Mui has the courage to stand up for herself and uses her Tai Chi to defend herself against her boss's attacks. Frightened, the woman leaves and the girl celebrates with her new friends. Hours later, when she is alone with Sing, Mui reveals that she is in love with him, but the man sees her only as a good friend. Frustrated, she begins to cry and returns to the table in an attempt to disguise her sadness. That week, the Masters must face an undefeated team. All the members team up to try to score a goal, but the third brother uses his lightning hands to block all the kicks. He then throws the ball to the other side of the field and scores a point for his team. Upon seeing the player's long winning record, Hung invites Feng to his mansion and offers him a lot of money to buy his team. However, the coach refuses the proposal because he wants to be by his team's side when it wins the championship. Weeks later, they are qualified to participate in the competition. On their way to the stadium, Sing stops by the store to invite his friend to watch the game. He then finds out that Mui has been fired for putting salt in the sweetbreads. So the man decides to try one of these breads and soon realizes that they have become salty due to Mui's tears that fell into the dough during preparation. When they arrive at the stadium, the players spot the trophy and promise themselves that they will take that prize home. The match begins and the Kung Fu Masters come out on top. However, the situation changes when the goalkeeper of the nefarious team holds, with one hand, a powerful kick from Sing. Until then, no goalkeeper had been able to stop that ball, much less with such ease. The man hands the object back to Sing and challenges him to try another kick, but the ball is blocked again. Seeing the power of his players, Hung remembers the substance he gave them before the game. In this way, they acquired superhuman strength and agility. Now it is Lightning Hand's turn to block his opponent's kicks. The man manages to hold on to the ball, but is thrown far away. Even wounded, he refuses to abandon his position and challenges the enemy to another kick. This time, the fourth brother is defeated and seriously wounded. The man is taken to the hospital and now the fighting team must continue the game without a goalkeeper. Iron Head tries to headbutt the ball, but ends up getting hurt when an opponent attacks him. The same happens to Lightweight as he tries to catch the ball in the air. After being kicked, the younger brother ends up buried in the field. Finally, Hooking Legs is immobilized and has his legs destroyed. At the end of the first half, the players can barely walk and must think of a new strategy to win that game. Some members of the team are overcome by fear and decide to abandon the competition. Now they must return to the field with the minimum number of players. They form a barricade to protect the goal, but are knocked down with the first kick. Seeing his teammates in trouble, the third brother assumes the position of goalkeeper and uses his own body to block the kicks. The man holds the ball in his abdomen and throws it in the direction of his enemies. At that moment, the fighters get a hold of the ball and Sing kicks it straight into the goal. However, the goalkeeper strikes the crossbar and manages to prevent the opposing team from scoring a point. Afraid of losing the match, the nefarious team decides to cheat. Some players gather around Sing and grab his legs. Then the man is kicked in the knee and is unable to play. Still, he makes an effort to stay on the field, otherwise the championship would be lost. Meanwhile, the third brother needs to grab another kick, only this time he ends up getting knocked out. The judge announces that if Feng does not get a replacement immediately, his team will be disqualified. Hung is already celebrating his victory when something totally unexpected happens. Mui shows up at the stadium with her head shaved and says that she will take over as goalkeeper. When asked why she is bald, the young woman replies that she no longer wants to hide her face. Sing tries to stop Mui from entering the field, as he doesn't want her to get hurt. However, the young girl asks for a chance to show her skills. She asks Steel Leg to wear his old sneakers, so that he can win that game. Mui takes up her position, but ends up kicking the ball to a player from the other team. At this point, everyone mocks the girl and Feng feels ashamed. The player intends to score the first point for his team and Mui prepares to block the attack. With all finesse, she uses her Tai Chi to master the ball and throws it to Sing. Combining their strength, the two Kung Fu masters perform a powerful move. Wherever it passes, the ball knocks down the opponents and eliminates the goalkeeper. Seconds later, the entire field is destroyed and Sing faints. When he wakes up, the man is being cheered by the fans, as the Kung Fu Soccer Club has won the Super Cup by the score of 1-0. The fighters celebrate this great victory together and months later the couple becomes newspaper articles, because for the first time in history, a striker marries the goalkeeper of his team. As for Coach Hung, he was expelled for injecting substances into his players and will never be able to act as a soccer coach again. While practicing his morning run with the shoes patched by his wife, Sing spots a young woman walking quietly through the streets. She slips on a banana peel, but uses her martial arts skills to avoid the fall. Just ahead, another woman uses the iron hand method to park her car, and the man who was fired earlier got his job back by mastering the flying sword technique. However, what impresses Sing the most is seeing executives practicing kung fu moves while waiting for the bus. At this point, the man understands that his purpose is being fulfilled, for, alongside Mui, he has managed to show people the true value of martial arts.